Asmodeus, one of the most powerful demons in hell, the one they say is second only to Lucifer himself. Some say he is the son of Adam, while others claim he is actually the forgotten king of Sodom. I'm going to tell you all this and much more about Asmodeus, the Lord of Lust. If you're new, please subscribe and like the video. It really motivates me to keep creating content. The models, like many demons and angels, also have various descriptions, shapes, and origins. It depends a lot on the religion and who is telling the story. Some sources, as they do with other demons, place him among the fallen angels. And if he is considered a high-ranking demon when he was among the angels, it's not wrong to think that he also held a high position. So much so that they say he could have been a cherub or a seraph, which are the two highest classes of angels. If you've seen my video about the 7 princes of hell, you know that Asmodeus is part of that group. Secondly, Peter Binsford, like the other princes, he has a connection with the cardinal sin, being the Lord of Lust. He also appears in the Goetia, being the 32 degrees among the 72 spirits of Solomon. His name can be written in several ways, such as Ajmadia, Ajmedai, Ajmodios, Ajmodi, 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 Ajmodai, and so on. He is mentioned both in the Bible and in the Talmud, but I'll talk about that later. Asmodeus is considered the king of demons, being very comparable also with other very powerful beings, such as Samael, who is the angel of death, and even Satan. He appears in various religious and also occult works, such as the Infernal Dictionary and the Ars Goetia. In these places, he appears as having the torso of a man, chicken legs, and a snake as a tail. But he can also appear as having the head of a man, a bull, and a ram. And they also say that he is capable of spitting fire. And besides all that I've said, he can still appear on the back of a hellish dragon, carrying a spear or a flag. The choice of animals that appear with him is not random. They are symbols of lust and revenge. Asmodeus is the sower of discord, arguments, deception, and obsession, and is also linked with sensuality, jealousy, fornication, wrath, adultery, and revenge. Asmodai, as I told you, is one of the various names of Asmodeus, and this word derives from the Avestan language, which is an Eastern Iranian language. It was used, for example, in ancient Persia. It comes from Aishma-deva, where Aishma would be anger or hatred. In Zoroastrianism, Daiva means demon, and there is a Daiva called Aishma, a demon of hatred. However, the name Aishma-daiva is not found in the scriptures. Even so, I think the name may have existed, and that the Asmodeus of the book of Tobias. The Talmudic demon, Ashimadai, may have been inspired by the Zoroastrian demon of wrath, Ashima. Ashima, Asmodai, and Asmodeus share many similarities. They don't necessarily represent the same thing. They may have different concepts. According to the Old Testament, Asmodeus is an evil demon who killed Sarah's 7 husbands, who was the daughter of Hagel before she even lay with them. This story is present in the book of Tobias, a book that, as far as I remember, is not present in the Protestant Bible, but is in the Catholic Bible. The story appears in the following way. It happened that precisely on that day, Sarah, daughter of Hagel, in Akbatana, in Media, also had to endure the outrages of a servant of her father. She had been given successively to 7 husbands, but as soon as they approached her, a demon named Asmodeus killed them. As the story is a bit long, so you don't just keep staring at the screen, I'll summarize the rest here. Well, God ends up sending the archangel Raphael to solve the problem. In fact, it's in this story that Raphael supposedly transforms into a human and lives among them for a while. He arrives at the place, and with the help of Tobias, he makes a smoke from fish liver. And with that, Asmodeus ends up fleeing, but is later caught by Raphael himself. In the Talmud, which is a set of sacred books of the Jews, Asmodeus, or here called Ashmedai, seems to be less dangerous than the character that appears in Tobias. At first, he appears to be a good guy, supportive, good-humored, but then he starts to show a characteristic that matches very well with Asmodeus. He begins to have desires for the wives of Solomon and Bathsheba, but here he is more like a Greek satyr than a demon. Asmodeus is also said to be the forgotten king of Sodom, a city that, along with Gomorrah, was destroyed by God for being full of sins. Some say that these sins may have been caused by Asmodeus, who after death became a demon. There are some legends that may reinforce this idea, such as the one where Asmodeus ends up taking Solomon's throne and stays there for a few years until the king returns and imprisons him. In another legend, Solomon summons Asmodeus and tricks him into building the Temple of Jerusalem. Asmodeus may also appear as a son of Adam. Yes, that same Adam you're thinking of, the one who appears in Genesis, the first man created by God. According to the story about this, some say that he would be the son of Adam, with Lilith, the famous first woman who would have appeared even before Eve. And she lived with Adam in paradise until a fight occurred with Adam and they disagreed, and Lilith went to the desert, becoming a black goddess. And still, according to this story, Eve would appear, but Eve would be possessed by Lucifer, and from her union with Adam, Cain would arise. Another story says that Asmodeus was born from a human named Nama, and his father was a fallen angel. And the name I found for this angel is Shamadon, but I'm not sure of the name, okay? I don't know if this name is of a human or an angel, so there's the warning. Other writers put that Asmodeus would have been born from Tubal-Cain, who is a character from the Bible, along with his own sister, who is Noma. And as if all these versions that I talked about here were not enough, there is still one more. In this story, Asmodeus is the son of King David and a succubus named Igradabate Mahalate, conceived after they had relations. The Testament of Solomon is an ancient pseudepigraphic manuscript, which are manuscripts where the authorship is considered false. Supposedly, Solomon himself would have written this testament. The detail is that it was written in Greek. However, whether it's false or not, I found it very interesting to bring this view because the Asmodeus here is very similar to the one in the book of Tobias. In this story, Asmodeus would have supposedly answered a question from Solomon about what his name would be and his functions. And he answers the following: I am called Asmodeus among mortals, and my business is to conspire against the newlyweds so that they do not know each other. And I totally separate them through many calamities. And I define the beauty of virgins and turn away their hearts. And I drive men to madness and desire when they have their own wives, so that they leave them in vain night and day for others who belong to other men, with the result that they commit sin and fall into murderous acts. In Asgotia, it says that Asmodeus can teach arithmetic, geometry, and astronomy, and can make the invoker invisible if so commanded. However, it is also said that the invoker should not wear a hat, because if he does, Asmodeus will deceive him. And unlike other places here, Asmodeus can appear as a well-dressed man and well-educated, but as he has chicken legs, he has to use a cane. Well, guys, that was the video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to rate the video. Leaving like or dislike, subscribe to the channel. Leave in the comments some subject for a next video. Thanks. Subtitle: Adriana.